Still a small team, but I think big team energy is kind of what we give off.
If you are a leader of your CX team, you should be in the weeds with your team, but also like allow your team to upskill themselves. Every CXer has to be an internet sleuth.
Yeah, I think we can't put that on the JD, but I mean, it might as well be. The fact that I get to make someone's day just a little bit easier, I don't know how many times every day, is more fulfilling to me.
Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess. This week, I am in Las Vegas because I am here for Shop Talk and Zendesk Relate and Medallia. I'm super excited to interview Nichelle because she comes from one of my favorite brands, Girlfriend Collective. Nichelle, I'm going to just hand it over to you and tell the audience who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Nichelle Mesa. I am the CX manager at Girlfriend Collective. I've been with them since 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so right before pandemic days. Yeah, so I think I just hit 6 years with them. So it's been crazy. Like, it's still from startup days to where we are right now. Still a small team, but I think big team energy.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we give off, because I feel like a lot of our customers are so shocked when they hear that we're only whatever size we are.
Yeah. But I love that. Like, honestly, even at Feastables, my internal team was actually only 5 people. And I like keeping my team small, truthfully, because then it's not that I'm against outsourcing. I just think that you can like hold on to the brand experience.
Yeah.
And you can also give your team opportunities to do other things too.
Yeah, no, I agree, because we've been through phases of, super high volume to not as high, so we've had different kind of models of the team. Like at one point we were trying to play around with, okay, let's have like a group of part-timers rather than a whole bunch of full-timers and then have to ramp them down. Like, we don't want to do that, so we played around with that. That was a little bit of a challenge when it came to like making sure everyone was either staffed properly, or there was like we went through a pool of having part-time agents, and then we also did the BPO route for a little bit, both domestically and then overseas at one point. But then I also personally just found that I really enjoy having the team that I have now, even though I've never met anyone in person because 2020 happened and we've been remote ever since. There are quite a few team members that I haven't seen in person, so that's kind of a weird experience. But even then, I feel like the team members that I've had for years now, I wouldn't trade them for any type of outsourcing. They are so important to me too. Yeah. So I think having that small knit team is really great, because there's also not this thing that I want to have where like, okay, I'm the manager, but that's it. Yeah. Like, I communicate with them on a daily basis, and I want it to be super casual. Like, a lot of the times when I either hire someone new, or even when it's a new agent from a BPO, they'll be like, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, no, please bother me.
Yeah. I think you're bringing up a really interesting point and a valid point when we talk about CX and CX philosophies and like running teams, because I think it's really important. If you are a leader of your CX team, you should be in the weeds with your team. Yeah. You should be the one where they're coming to you for the questions. I actually run into a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot. Like, I want to be clear. It's actually not a lot of people, but I've run into a few people recently who are like, I don't want to be in the queues. They're trying to create so much separation between them and the team. Yeah. And I think that that's like such a bad way to think about leadership.
Yeah, no, that stresses me out, you saying that, because what keeps me awake are like, if everything's going fine, sometimes there's like that thought, maybe as every CXer might have it, like, oh, something might go wrong in the middle of the night. Yeah. So like, for me not to be dialed into what's going on in the queue, I would, if we ever get to a point where we're big, right, and maybe I don't need to be in the queue every day, that would bother me. Yeah. I would want to know like what people are talking about, and just to see if everything's good, if everything's normal, or if it's not. Like, I want to be the first one to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's so important. Exactly. Like, you want to be the first person to know. Like, I hear you. Like, I don't love when like my teams come up to me, because I'm like fractional now, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I manage a lot of different teams, but I don't love when they come up to me and they're like, Jess, I have this problem with DHL, or there's like a expired issue or whatever, and it's gotten to a point, not about like what the issue is necessarily, but if it's gotten to a point where it's like hindering for the team, that like they can't perform efficiently, that bothers me if I'm so far removed and not actually in the weeds with my team.
Yeah.
You know? But the one thing I will say, though, I do think that there's like a good balance. Like, if you are a CX leader, yes, be in the weeds with your team, but also like allow your team to upskill themselves and like find the issues or bring them to you, right? Because like, you don't want to be so far in it that you haven't delegated anything away.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to micromanage your team. And that's what I really like too, is like give them like this space to really, one, not stick to macros. Like, two, please inject your personality when you're talking to customers, but also like don't feel like, if you feel like I feel like there's like some kind of sixth sense. Like, when you're talking to a customer, even though it might not have been like the fifth report of something, you're kind of like, is this going to be an issue? And so it's so easy for all of us to just go in Slack channel and be like, hey, did anyone else see any of this happen? And then that way it's also in real time. Like, you're not waiting to have then 10 tickets to then, I don't know, forward something on to your product team and say something that's wrong. Like, you kind of have like there's this feeling that, okay, let me just make sure that this is not going to be an issue, and make sure that we're all communicating, rather than me having like the next week and doing like our CX sync, and then one agent saying, hey, yeah, I noticed this, and these are, it all happened last week. I'm like, oh, well, I would have like, let's all know like right when that happens.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also, again, another valid point, and like why that is so important, because when we talk about like CX feedback loops, right? I think when you're talking about CX feedback loops, like, you can't just go to your product team or even your marketing team and just say, I have one issue. Yeah. You have to have data behind it in order to get action out of anything, right? Yeah. And so if you don't wait to get to your meeting, your weekly meeting, and you actually have an open door like policy communicating issues or whatever it is, then you're creating this ability to get the feedback earlier, not only earlier, but also to like quantify it and come to the rest of like the company with data so they can actually move the needle, rather than waiting for 1 minute and a freak out.
Yeah, exactly. And then I one thing I do appreciate with our product team specifically is that they are very keen to like know, what did the customer like this new style that we launched? What did they not like about it? Or even when we revisit like our core styles, like our compressive legging. Yeah. Is everything still good? Like, because last year we did our rebrand, so now, our garments have our new logo on them. So it was like, what do customers think of that? Let's make sure like nothing happened during, production, right? Everything's still good. So they also have a pulse on things, and I'll get messages from them just being like, hey, just want to make sure everything's good. I'm like, yeah, everything's good. And then if it's a new product, they're like, have you heard anything about this? I'll go into our reviews, make sure that nothing's there, look at anything on our queue that might have come up that, maybe when you're in the weeds doing tickets, it doesn't, like the number of them doesn't really strike you as like an issue, but you just want to double check and make sure that everything's good. Because some people who leave reviews don't write in as a ticket. There's so many times when I'll be looking at reviews and it'll be, 3 stars or below, and they're saying, my legging arrived with like, I don't know, like a stitch was undone or something like that. So clearly a big issue, not something we want to have someone deal with. Yeah. But they didn't write in about it. They didn't ask for a replacement. So then that's on us to, one, respond to the review, and also be like, hey, like, let's either help you get a replacement, exchange it if that's out of stock, like whatever it is. Yeah. Like, to just offer that, not like, because they could have just been sitting there. Then they're like, have this pair of leggings that they can't wear. Yeah. And then they just won't reach out.
And they're building animosity towards you and saying, girlfriend collector sucks.
Yeah. And you would have no idea.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's the same thing when like dealing with community management too, right? It's like, and this is why it's so important, not even just from like CX teams to do feedback loops, but also like just to be listening and like involved with the community or in like social channels and not have it like so separate.
Yeah.
Because the same thing can happen. Like somebody can like write comments on your Facebook ad, right?
Yep.
And it's negative, and then you're like looking up, you know, Karen Smith, and it turns out Karen Smith hasn't even written you in. You know? But then her first touch point is at least like commenting back and saying, hey, why don't we like take this to DM? Let's like talk about this more, you know?
Exactly. And that happens a lot. Yeah. Like you said on social. And I'm just kind of like, wait, who are you? Like, let me help you. Like, please. Like, I
the Nancy
wish
Drew
you would
hat.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're all kind of like, our CX team are like internet sleuths. We're like,
we have to be.
Yeah.
Every CXer has to be an internet sleuth. Like,
yeah. I think we can't put that on the JD, but I mean, it might as well be.
Yeah. Well, I think how you can describe that skill is if you don't know something, you go figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think all CXers are like, if we don't have the answer, we're going to go find it, you know? So that's the skill. That's what you put it on the JD.
Yeah, formally.
Wait, so I want to back up because like we just totally got into discussion, which I really loved, but I want to ask you, how did you get into the world of CX?
So I started like as frontline, as traditional as you can get with customer service. So I worked retail at like the Navy Exchange. That was super random. And then I moved on to a call center at a telecom company.
Dude, that was my first job.
Yeah, that was my second one. And I was like... had no experience with phone customer support. Like, it was just more front-facing. Like, again, retail, and you're kind of like at, not a grocery store, but like it's more casual. It's like not a formal environment. You're not on the phone all the time. So that was kind of a shock to me, but it was very metric heavy. Yeah. And like the way it's structured, you know, in some ways I get it. Like, you're trying to protect your margins and you want to make sure that no one's giving out too many discounts. But, you know, when you have someone screaming at you on the phone multiple times throughout the day and you're scared to give a discount that might probably help the situation a little bit, you know, and then you get talked to or pulled aside because, like, hey, you gave too much, or like, why are you giving out something like too often by whatever standard that might be, right? So you're kind of like, what can I do? Like, you feel like you lose in almost any situation. Yeah. Right. So, like, if you're taking the time to talk to someone on the phone and maybe you're going over your call time goals or whatever that may be, so then you're just kind of in a spot where, well, what can I do right? You know, unless I feel like there are people, because I know I've had a few friends there who are like really good with their call times, with everything, and they have like this chart. They had this chart where you had everybody on there ranked.
Dude, the leaderboards. But you know what's so interesting? Because same thing. My first job, I was a telemarketer, which is so
oh my gosh, yes,
kooky. Like, I have to tell you, like, actually, I'm going to tell this story. My first job was a telemarketer. I was living in Lafayette, Louisiana. I was 16. I was so happy to get my first job, and I was slanging like AT&T services, and like I'm on the phone, but like phone sales. I'm also really old, so I need to preface this, okay?
No, you're
like,
good. You're good.
So I was like selling like cable TV and like whatever, right? And you know, all these other things. But it was so interesting for the leaderboard thing, because every time you would get a sale, you would have to like ring this bell.
Oh, interesting.
But I like, looking back now, I'm like, that feels so weird and sleazy. Like, I would literally have to talk to like these older people and like convince them that no, it wasn't. I said it was cable. I was selling long distance plans. That's how old I was. Girl, that's how old I am.
Hey, I still remember. Are SIM cards still a thing?
Yeah, I think they are.
Okay, well,
I think internationally.
Okay, yeah. But I remember when like you had to pay for everything, your messages, the time you were on your phone. Yeah. There's so many. There's like a joke with people I still keep in touch with from the call center when we'll talk about like our horrible calls that were just like so detrimental to us at the time. But it was like, yeah, you remember when we used to give out this plan or this plan to like make someone happy, but like we would get in trouble for it. But whatever, you know, we just want to help people.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So at what point in your career then? Like, besides the call center, but like at what point in your career did it like click for you that you wanted to do this? Like, because that's a different type of customer service, right? But like Girlfriend Collective is like fun and not even just like about it being a brand. It's like, when you work in e-commerce, it's more about brand experience. It's more about like your customer's experience. Like, when did it click for you?
Yeah, so from the call center, I kind of went and was doing like a bunch of things. So I went from there to I was doing furniture sales. I mean, I was hired on as a social media whiz, but then I kind of transitioned into a sales role. So I was kind of, doing a little bit of that. And I'm not a salesperson.
No.
I'm more of a like, hey, like if I had a store and you walked in and you just like nothing was to your liking, like that's cool. I don't want to pressure you to buy something you either don't want or don't need, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So I really don't like pressuring people and like selling something. I do like to take care of people. I like to give more like, here's all the information that you are either asking for or that I think you might find interesting.
Yeah.
And then you make your own decision.
Yeah.
So from there, I went to a little boutique in Seattle, which was super fun too. That's where I kind of got introduced to the sustainability part of fashion. Mm-hmm. So they were like, we were super tiny. Like super tiny inventory. Like the locals knew about this place. It's been around for over 15 years, I think. So,
wow.
And of course, super small. So I was with the owner like every day. We were again a team of three people at the time.
Yeah.
That was super interesting to learn about sustainability there. And I actually just got reached out to by someone at Girlfriend.
Really?
To come meet them. And well, first it was an over the phone conversation, and then it went further than that because obviously I'm at Girlfriend now. But so it was my first role title was customer experience lead, so not a manager. So interviewed there, got the gig, and that was still technically my first startup, but my first startup experience. And I was like, again, in the weeds with the CEO. His desk was, across from me. We had two other gals who I still keep in touch with, who were like really, really good to me in like developing my career and like really pushing me to do things instead of staying in my shell. Because I didn't have really an idea of what customer experience was. I knew what customer support was, and I was like, I know I can do that. But then that's where we were all kind of, it was them that really told me like, hey, we don't view customer support as just like answering tickets, even though of course that's what you'll be doing part of the time, but it's a whole thing. Like we want to put our customers first. So Girlfriend already had that philosophy behind them, which was super interesting and super refreshing for me. Again, coming from like a call center where everything was like metric, and like not the customer experience term wasn't even, I feel like it didn't even exist. If it did, it definitely wasn't there at that call center. So that's kind of where it started. And maybe a year or two after, we have conversations about like, hey, like where do you see yourself in Girlfriend? And at that time, I was like, I don't know. Like there's so many things I'm interested in because I joined when I was 23.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't really know. I mean, I like what I'm doing now, but maybe I want to do operations because that seems fun. Like I like putting stuff together, which I think is another thing about CXers. We're kind of like problem solvers.
Yeah.
In a way. And then I was like, I forget what moment it was, but it was like, wait, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Like all these things are interesting. Social media is interesting. Operations is interesting. Product development is interesting. But I like this. And the fact that I get to make someone's day just a little bit easier, I don't know how many times every day is more fulfilling to me. So that's why I stayed, because I felt like I was really making a difference. And when I would get these emails back, whether it was about an experience that I helped out with personally, or if it was another team member, just saying like, oh my gosh, I got my leggings, I love them. Like this was the purchase that I was making to like get into my fitness journey, or if it was I'm postpartum, like whatever it was, that like that part was so like struck a chord with me.
Yeah. Well, I think this is actually why I really love Girlfriend Collective, because your brand exemplifies inclusivity.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that story that you're talking about, right? It's like whether you're a postpartum or getting into like fitness journey, it's like the thing that attracted me to Girlfriend Collective was way back in the day, like right before the pandemic. I was living in San Francisco, and I was like on a fitness journey or whatever, and like I was looking for like some like cool sets, right?
Yeah.
And then I came across Girlfriend Collective, and like I don't even think it was an ad. I think I like Google searched something, right?
Yeah.
But I really came across it because of the sustainability reasons, and like I didn't want to have, you know, Adidas or Nike. Like, don't get me wrong, I have like those clothes, like,
Yeah,
right? Like
everyone
I'm wearing
does.
Adidas like shoes right now, but like I loved those OG leggings, the compression leggings with
Yep.
like the compression like sports bra, because I'm big chested, you know, and like if I'm running on a treadmill, like I'm
Yeah.
trying to be strapped down, okay?
Yep.
But I came across it, and like that's the one thing I just like so appreciate about Girlfriend Collective is like how inclusive it is.
Yeah, so I really love getting those emails, and there was like I'll bring this up from time to time. Whoever like asks me about like certain customer experience that happened, but there was this one customer, and this was when it was just me, and I felt like I didn't really even do much to warrant this much of a warm piece of feedback that she felt that she needed to send to me. But I think I might have helped her with a return, like maybe a style just didn't work out, but she, you know, still loved the brand, and I just helped her with that. And then she just mentioned like, yeah, you know, I brought you up when I was having brunch with my mom. I was like, you what? That's so sweet. Like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, no, I really love making those moments. So I think that's kind of where my focus is, you know, aside from having an overall good experience, is like, what's something that you can remember us for?
Yeah.
That might not even be tied to a product. Like, at least, you know, I obviously love our product. A lot of people do. But even if our product is good, one bad customer experience can just ruin that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they will not come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good segue into like the question that I really wanted to ask you too is like, if you could describe your CX philosophy in 3 words, what would they be and why?
Ooh, definitely memorable because for reasons I explained. But again, it's just kind of, I don't want to just be that person who helped you with a ticket, or even I don't want our team members to just be, you know, the ones who helped you with something. Like, I want to add value to whatever you might be writing in about. Again, it doesn't have to be something big, but like really quickly, I just have to rave about like this. I had an issue with USPS literally on Friday.
Yeah.
I ordered a whole bunch of records. So, of course, you can't have them sitting in a box for too long
No.
or else they'll get messed up. So it was delivered, and I went to my box, and I was trying to turn the key to get it out, but something was weird. It wouldn't open. And I'm, like, panicking, right? I'm like, oh, my gosh. It's going to sit in there. It's getting hot in Vegas especially. So called up USPS. Didn't wait too long. I was expecting to wait, like, 100 hours.
Like, I will multitask while being on this call.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was doing. And but they picked up within like 10 minutes, so that was great. And then I was like, hey, you know, something's going on with the box, it won't open. And then she's like, okay, I'll submit a ticket, but if you go out there and leave a note, like that'll be faster, so the carrier will see it the next day.
Yeah.
So they submitted that. Maybe 20 minutes later, I got a call from my local USPS location, and she was saying I reached out to the carrier, asked him to go back, and you know, take it out.
Wow.
And like either rearrange it so you can go out and get it, or put it on your front door. And then maybe an hour later, I see on like my doorbell that he dropped it off. I was like, what?
That's awesome.
I know. I was like really not expecting that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if everyone's USPS's whatever site functioned like that, I think everybody would be so much happier, because
I know.
as CXers, we know sometimes USPS can run into some issues.
And it all varies by city.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
zip code. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
So like that alone could have been like a huge, I mean, I was already panicking, but
Yeah.
now I don't have to panic for the rest of this weekend.
Yeah.
But like that's something that I'm going to remember about like my local USPS. And like I feel better if this were to happen again in the future. Hopefully it won't.
Yeah.
But like those are the kinds of things that I really like to create. So memorable would be one of them.
Okay.
2 would be, I don't want to say just friendly, because that kind of sounds like everyone's friendly, but
Yeah.
I would say, like, when we talk about how we want to come across as Girlfriend Collective CX, it's really like you're talking to your girlfriend. Like, if you're shopping, we all do this where we see something cute on the internet and then we're texting like our friend, like, what do you think? Should I get it? So that's how I want customers to interact with us. If they're like, what do you think or what do you recommend for XYZ, right? I always tell my team, like, if there's a bra that you love that will actually work for this person, and, because we rave to each other about products that we like.
Yeah.
Like, rave about it to this customer as, like, genuinely as, like, you don't have to go too deep in the, if you had a product sheet, like, it does this, 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 and this. Like, no, like, just say what you like about it. Be totally genuine. Be casual. As if you're texting them.
Yeah. So it's, like, friendly but authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What's your last one?
My last one would have to be... proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a few things that we implement that I think everybody should be doing if you're not already. But we have a wonderful, wonderful logistics coordinator, Amber. If she's ever watching this.
Shout out to Amber.
Yeah, shout out to Amber. But she is also super involved in, like, she has a customer experience mindset too. So especially when it comes to logistics, when that's what would you say, a root cause of a lot of the tickets that we're solving. Like, it's at the forefront of her mind when she thinks about things. Like, if we ever have to reroute something somewhere, like, is this going to be a good thing overall for the customer or not? Mm-hmm. So she has this, she started this list where it'll be shipments that look sketch, Like, it says it's being delivered, but, like, it's been either, like, too much of a gap in time between what we're usually seeing, so maybe something fishy is going on there, or it's, like, return to sender. Mm-hmm. And we go into that sheet every week, and we'll reach out to that customer and say, like, hey, it looks like your order should have been delivered on XYZ, and it looks like it's still kind of floating around in the atmosphere. Did you get it? Do we need to send you a replacement? Sometimes they'll write back and they say, oh, no, it's good. Like, I don't know why the tracking number says it hasn't been delivered. It was delivered, like, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just making sure, like, you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's, making sure that, one, something arrived, and just making sure that, things are going well.
Yeah.
And one of our surveys that I think I shared on LinkedIn, but it's still one of my favorite ones ever. It stemmed from us reaching out from that sheet. So one of my agents just reached out and just said, like, hey, again, looks like something weird's going on with your tracking. Just want to make sure that you got it. She did. Customer left a review or a survey and said something like, girl, she reached out to me to ask if I got my order. And then she put, I love you, I'm drunk, bye. It's still my favorite. It was like, see, that's like the kind of stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, one of my questions, and I think you honestly really talk about it a lot, but I want you to talk about it more, was Girlfriend Collective, like, has such a different, brand voice and mission.
Yeah.
And I want, and you're obviously translating this into CX, but I would love to know, like, do you have, like, another example about how you're translating that brand voice and mission into your CX department? Yeah,
so obviously a big core pillar is sustainability. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times, we get customers from different maybe points in their sustainability journey, if you will, if we'll call it that. You have some people who find us because they were looking for the product first and then find out about the sustainability aspect. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of fall into, like, the nice deep end of, like, researching and saying, like, oh, XYZ. And then you have some people who are already, privy to, like, they're very worried about greenwashing, which is, I feel like, becoming a bigger problem as we move on. Day by day, I feel like it gets worse. I don't know why. Yeah. So they're very concerned, and they'll write in, maybe a little bit more detailed questions, like, how do I really know? They're a little suspicious because they've probably been burned in the past.
Well, I think we all as consumers need to be a little suspicious at this point, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, so they'll write in. So our team is, like, we're also equipped to handle most of those sustainability questions that come in. And then where it does also get, like, maybe someone has... We've had this a few times, too, where someone has a very specific allergy to something, and sometimes they'll know what it is, or, like, a general, like, I have sensitivity to this kind of dye. Do you use this kind of dye? And that's when we also loop in our product team. And it's not something that they don't take seriously. So the product team is also very good about, like, we don't want a customer to put on our bra and then have a rash.
Dude.
That's crazy.
On your boobs?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. while you're trying to like work out or whatever it might be, or if you're just trying to lounge and then you're just itchy all of a sudden, that's terrible.
Or you're like, itch my boob.
Yeah. And I hate being itchy. That's like one of the things I just hate. Just as a human being, don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
So we'll reach out to them and be like, hey, I know we don't have like this, like we don't have PFAs, we don't have BPA and all that bad stuff, but like, does it have this in it? And then they'll reach out and make sure, you know, that it doesn't have in it. And then it's like, here's the test that we can show if they want to see that it's actually not on there.
Yeah.
And we actually link, you know, our certifications on the website. And we also have that readily available if someone wants to see it, if they write in. So we make sure that we have at least a good, not too deep into sustainability, because I feel like at that point we should just be certified as sustainability majors as a CX team, but that we have enough information to just like quell all the fears.
Yeah. Well, I work with a lot of like wellness brands. So a lot of like the people that I'm like fractionally working across are like brands like Equip Foods or ProMix or Lineage Provisions. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because what's interesting about those audiences is they care about sustainability. They care about what's going into like their protein, right? And what I think is so interesting when we're talking about clothing is that people are caring more about it in like recent years, you know? But I don't think there's enough, like brands aren't doing enough to like talk about their sustainability. They're not talking about like or sharing like the studies and tests. And I think that is a huge differentiator for Girlfriend Collective. And the fact that like you're so willing to share that sustainability information is really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was like a few things that I've come to learn after, you know, looking at all this stuff. Because again, when I was at that little boutique in Seattle, you know, I had a little bit of a taste of sustainability, but it was more so, you know, we carried a lot of brands. So each brand had like their own spin on sustainability. So maybe this brand had more sustainable manufacturing practices, but maybe another brand was more sustainable in terms of like how many garments they produce. So it was kind of varied. Yeah. And when you're working in a boutique, you know, it's not like the stories can kind of get a little bit too much, and to be like, oh, this one does this one does that. Yeah. And to keep up with everybody's, you know, either what they're innovating or whatever their whole story is. Yeah. With Girlfriend, it was, one, it was already there when I started, which was super cool. So I kind of went through the discovery phase like a new customer would. Yeah. So for example, the two other gals that started with me, hi, Gina, Angela, they knew Girlfriend from the campaign days. So like 2017 when it was pay $20 for shipping and then try the legging. Oh. Yeah. I didn't know about that either. But
yeah, that was even before my time as a consumer.
Yeah. And fun fact, there was, I believe a few people thought it was scammy. Because, I mean, it kind of sounds like only $20 for leggings. Like, that's crazy. But it worked, and we have so many OG customers who still come back, and they're like, love your leggings. I had one customer send me photos of, I think she's like in a rugby team of some sort, just recreationally, casually. And she was like, these are my OG pairs. I still wear them. And they only now started getting like a teeny tiny hole, right? But she goes, but I've been playing rugby in them. So like, wow, falling on the ground, running. So they've been through it. And only now it's starting to show just, you know, a teeny tiny hole. So hearing stories like that is super cool. Yeah. But yeah, those, my two teammates at the time were like, oh yeah, the campaign design. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I felt like the odd one out. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are we doing? So yeah, I went through, looked at all of like the about page, of course, and we had videos about, you know, Econil. We had videos about the factory in Vietnam. And I was like, I have never seen any other brand do this ever. Yeah. Maybe Everlane, I think, was maybe the only other one that I remember.
Yeah, they're honest. Yeah. Who else is like really honest though?
I think
it's like becoming popular now. I mean, well, like I think of Patagonia.
Yes.
They're very honest, right? Like they talk about their sustainability. But I think that it's interesting that there's not a lot. Like, I mean, like think about like Nike and Adidas. They like mass produce. Yeah. All the time. And I don't think, and going even back to the PFAs comment that you made, I don't think a lot of people realize like, well, first of all, we're all in this like, oh, we're consuming microplastics or we have microplastics in our body, right? And like, we're all learning about those things. We're also learning about like all the toxic chemicals in our house and like all these things that we've like raised to use, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think people think about it in their clothing. Like they don't think about it in like the clothing that they're wearing. Like
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I for sure didn't. And when you think about it, especially when you're wearing leggings that are close to your skin.
Yeah, and you're sweating in them.
Yep. And your nether regions. And like you really have to be careful about that. And yeah, it's not something that's talked about just generally. Again, like it's only picked up traction over the past, I think that one article went viral maybe 2 years ago now. But still, that's such a recent time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And Girlfriend has been around since 2017? Yeah. So it's interesting. It's like approaching 10 years. But I think it's like at the next stage.
Yeah.
You know, for the consumer. Something that was coming up for me while we were talking about this and like all this education stuff is like, how do you, not even just like the CX team, but like just overall even the company, how do you guys think about like retention for your customer? Because it's like you do so much education. I'm just curious about like, I don't know, what is the high level retention strategy?
Yeah, for retention, I mean, you know, we have the basics, like we have our loyalty program, and you know, we try to do targeted but meaningful messaging to really only show you, you know, what are you interested in. So, without me trailing off too much into a rant, so like one thing that we try to do, or that I want to find out, or what I think would be helpful for me and my team, is when a customer writes in, we have this conversation that we've had over the years. Like, is this a legging customer? Is this a bra customer? Or is this someone who loves the sets? Yeah. You know? And does it make sense? You know, if someone's just a compressive fabric customer and maybe, you know, if we see, maybe they tried float, they returned it. They didn't like it. Yeah. But they continue to get compressive. Why are we going to send them an email about float?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the age-old problem that we always talk about, and like especially because the CX teams get the brunt of when you have bad segmentation or when you just like keep doing marketing emails and like not thinking about who you're sending it to. I mean, I know I'm talking about segmentation, but like it goes deeper than that. It's like even when I think about email campaigns and even if I'm just doing like a follow-up message to something, I'm still thinking about what segments I'm doing. Yep. But then like a lot of times I run into this so often, brands just do full list sends.
Yeah.
But they don't like, and then we talk about like, oh, personalization and recommendations and all these things. But then when we get down to the marketing, like you don't actually do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like we still, of course, like want to show off our new collection if it's not compressive, like for sure. But if there's anything further than that and we just it's just annoying. Like you just it's like that text, the scammy text that you get from, I don't know, right now I have apparently so many traffic tickets that I'm supposed to pay. And I'm like, I don't live in Washington anymore. There's no way I have all of these tickets. So it's just like that annoying thing that keeps pestering you. I'm like, why are you showing me something that's so irrelevant to me?
Yeah. But that's the difference of, you know, customer experience and thinking about it as not just supporting your customer, thinking about it from like a brand experience, right? Like thinking about like your retention, your life cycle, even like any of your growth marketing, and thinking about it from like, what is my customer experiencing in that moment to actually personalize it to them. And it's not about just saying like, hey, first name. It's really personalizing their experience, because even if they don't buy right then in that moment, they're more likely to buy from you later down the line because you're not coming off scammy.
Yeah, or too salesy.
Salesy.
Like, like even though if float might be the talk of the town today, but I see you're a compressive customer and, you know, maybe they're saying, I didn't like float, but I want something that's like, I love my Paloma bra, which is like our best-selling bra ever. It's long line, doubles as a crop top too.
I think I'm wearing that one.
Okay. Yeah. So it's tried and true. But maybe, you know, they want to try something different, but float didn't work out. So what am I going to do with that information? She loves the Paloma. Well, then we have this other fabric called Luxe that's a little bit compressive, a little bit more flexible, and we have a long line style. Like, I'm not really going to recommend a traditional style length of bra if she loves the Paloma.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, you have these indicators that they're giving you, or maybe they're not verbally giving them to you. You have the order information right there. You have everything right there.
It's going the fucking extra mile.
Yeah, just take a look really quick. Like, of course, sometimes you can't do that for every single thing. So I guess the challenge is like how to do that sustainably, which is like the one tech thing I'm interested in finding. Like, what does that tech solution look like? Does it exist yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's still taking, like, again, that extra minute or two to just see what do they like, what do they not like, what didn't work out, you know, and what's their ticket history.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just really trying to get to know them.
Just trying to get to know your customer. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I want to kind of pivot back to your philosophy real quick, though, because there was something that is coming up just in this moment. But what are some common CX traps you see brands fall into that you are actively avoiding?
Oh, gosh. A CX trap. Oh, okay. So I don't know. I did like a just really quick background context. So I did one of like a virtual interview for the CX Explained. Yeah. So I did one of those, and it was about AI.
Yeah.
And the gist of what I said was basically that I'm hesitant towards AI.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one to jump the gun to implement it, even though I totally see the value in it. Like, don't get me wrong. But again, when we talk about small teams, I don't want to lose that control.
Yeah.
And not like a control freak, but like I don't want to lose touch.
Yeah.
From what customers are experiencing and what we're putting out there. So that was the gist of what I said. And I think it was Nancy from Caraway. She posted something on LinkedIn that was AI related, but I want to be in tune to like what's going on. Just I might not be the first fish to, swim around in it, but I want to know, and I'm super interested. And I think I commented something like, oh, this is so exciting. Like, I love Caraway. I'm super excited to see what they do. And so I was like, yeah, I just commented that, like, super interested because it was supposed to be something she was going to share later on, but just wanted to, like...
I know the secret.
Yeah, okay.
By the time this airs, the secrets will be out. But...
Okay, cool. So I won't have to wait long.
Yeah. No,
awesome.
But I'll tell you what they are.
Okay.
Offline.
But, and then I got, like, some DMs from AI companies.
Of course.
Right?
They're like snakes on LinkedIn. It's so creepy.
I was like, that was so fast. But one of them said... I didn't want to reach out to you because I saw your CX Explained interview. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, whoa, I'm not an AI hater, okay? I just want to make sure it works properly. Yeah. And I don't want it to come across. Customers are already used to us being pretty personable. Yeah. I would hate to ruin that. Yeah. Yeah. And then I've been through a few snafus where BPOs were involved and, you have... Depending on how they're set up, you have like an alias name, right? And we had one BPO, I won't name the name, but everything was so good in the beginning. Like what they said they would do, they were delivering, and it was authentic and, smooth sailing. I don't know what kind of, maybe it was like an operational thing, but then, changes started to happen. My contacts were starting to change a little bit too often. That was normal. And then things started to go downhill. And that alias name became infamous amongst our customers. Yeah. Nightmare. A total nightmare. So needless to say that relationship ended. Yeah. And then it was like, I never want that to happen again. Like, that is embarrassing. That is like, makes it just grows distrust with you and your customer. And that wasn't even AI driven. Yeah. This is just like a BPO model that just didn't work out. Humans were handling the tickets, but it was, again, when you don't go the extra mile or even just take the time to like slow it down. Like, I don't know if maybe, because they also have metrics they have to hit, right? So I don't know, maybe they had some kind of either like an organization type of deal where they're metric heavy, and maybe, the agents there were like so concerned about hitting targets rather than delivering on the customer experience. So you already have to deal with that. So having to have that happen before without AI, and then to pivot or to add AI all the way. Well, yeah, because it's like
you burned your customer's trust. Yes. Now you're burned from that. And that's a human experience. So then it's like if you add the AI into it, then it's like people get And then it's also like, what's the balance between saying this is AI versus this is a human, right?
Yeah.
Because trust me, like, listen, we're not going to name tools up in here, okay? This is agnostic, okay?
Yeah.
But I have done AI systems and for one of my clients, and it was like so bad, like where customers were really complaining a lot. We were like losing money because it was like doing things like, giving discounts that it shouldn't have, right? It was making a lot of hallucinations. But what's so ironic is that I was also using that AI on a whole other client, and and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like there's no one-way path for AI. But then even going back to your comments about like the human experience too, I've experienced it too, like just with like BPOs. It's so hard. It's not even just about brand voice. It's so hard if that BPO is not structured correctly, or if you're not involved in that training, or you're not involved in QAing them. Like from the internal perspective, things can get out of hand so quickly, right? And then you also find like people who are kind of lazy.
Yeah. Sometimes, they don't want to take the extra time to do it. Or again, that would be one of the things that, I can confirm that I did not really have the opportunity to QA those tickets. And then we did pivot to a different BPO where I did, and I was able to meet those agents in person. So that was a much better experience. And then also I didn't even have the ability to talk to said agent from the previous one. Like it was multiple people under the same alias, and it was kind of like they would also handle different accounts, which wasn't the case at first. Like we were told that, Jane would be on the girlfriend account. Yeah. Maybe Jane would have one other brand, but it's going to be
not like 5.
Yeah. So I feel like that might have been what happened. Yeah. And then that's when the quality started to drop. So, having been burned by a BPO, and so it's definitely made me hesitant with AI. I do love it for things that make sense to automate. Right.
Like, where's my ticket?
Where's my order?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Or how do I return? Yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah. And the return works really well. Like that one, we have customers write in like, how do I return my order? And then it gives you all of this information. And then by the time we get to it, because we still just want to like have a pulse on it to make sure that everything went well with your return, they've already done it. And we're good. We just send a little check-in, like, want to make sure everything was good, done. Yeah. Like that makes sense. To then, I would never let AI handle anything sustainability related, anything product related. Like those are opportunities for me and my team.
Yeah. I mean, because that make it like personal, right? Yeah. So going back to the DMs though, right? I am just like, it's so funny that you literally comment something on the internet and then immediately people are like, I have an AI tool for you. Like, so does everybody. Yeah. So everybody and their mom has an AI tool. We're good. Okay. Yeah. We are over inundated by the AI tools.
Yes. I mean, and like I said, I see the value in it, and I use it personally for like, it's great if you want to, like what I did recently was, here's my dream life. Like, what are steps, blah, blah, blah. It's like good for giving you perspective, like when there's a lot of busy thinking that you just don't want to do, you need it on like a summary. Like it's great for that. It's not great for trying to mimic a human experience. That at least that's my philosophy right now.
I don't want it to mimic the human experience. Yeah. Truthfully, I don't. Like, yes, for like a research perspective or even like a co-pilot perspective or low-hanging fruit items, absolutely. But I don't want to replace my human agents with AI. Yeah. At all. I want to give them opportunities. Like I want to give my teams the opportunities to utilize AI from like a co-pilot situation where it's like, I'm not really sure how to like summarize this or, help me out with like giving me some information or taking off like, where's my order tickets or whatever else it is. But then that opens up for your team to be able to like, check in about returns or check even in about like, how's your subscription going? Like retention more, like that personal, like retention type of effort. But like, I don't want it to replace my team. And so many, now I'm on one. I am on one. I'm going to look at the camera and say this. So many brands think that they can replace their CX teams with an AI bot. And listen, As somebody who has led plenty of CX teams, you cannot replace the human experience.
No.
Nichelle said it. I'm saying it. Coming at you.
Yeah. And my pet peeve, too, is when brands have the AI thing fully integrated, whatever it looks like AI is the first thing you talk to, that some brands don't give you an easy route to get to a person. Mm-hmm. Like, at least give someone an easy route to get to a human being. Otherwise, it's just the IVR, press this button for this, but now it's on your mobile, now it's on your desktop, and you're stuck in this loop.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a headache.
It's a headache.
Yeah, we've already learned from phone service that people don't like that, so let's not do it.
I do think that there is a balance that you can do. You can take people down flows, because I built this at Feastables and and I was super. This is actually something I'm so proud about.
Yeah.
I took a chatbot experience on the website and built out this whole experience for because we just had a lot of kids, right?
Yeah.
That would come to the website and they'd be like, I want Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Beast. And so I built out Mr. Beast experiences for them so that so then my team could actually deal with issues.
Yeah.
You know? So and it was really fun. There was rock, paper, scissors games. There was stuff, but that was a very brand experience moment. And then I also took that same experience, and what we're talking about, there's two differences: the IVR version of AI or the conversational AI.
Yep.
I utilize the IVR version, so it's you can control the pathways. But then I also took that experience and put it into our text message channel.
Yeah.
And I was developed out this whole thing, right? And I think if you have control of that type of AI, you can do it. But don't aggravate your experience. Utilize it so you can collect information, so when it does get handed off to an agent, they have the right information to service the customer, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to help elevate your experience. It shouldn't cause any harm to it whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you some really unhinged questions.
Okay.
They're unhinged in my brain, but we talked about this one off air.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you this and
All
see if
right.
it came up to you. You ready?
Yeah.
If Girlfriend Collective had a theme song for its CX team, what would it be?
Okay, I gotta think about something it's gotta be something emotional but not heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That I feel like we're super high empathy, but it's also gotta be a little bit upbeat. Also, my music tastes are very fringe.
That's okay. So is mine. Okay. It's totally fine.
Oh my gosh. What am I listening to right now that kind of makes sense? This is a hard one, honestly.
I know.
Yeah. We might have to come back to it again later.
I have one idea, though, because you said the empathy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Karma is My Kink by Chapel Rowan.
Okay, I was going to think about one of her other songs, but that makes, I agree.
Because it talks about, it's a song, I don't know why they literally came to me in that moment, but it Karma is My Kink, it talks about driving by your house and tormenting myself, but I still love you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a very CX thing, right?
Yeah. Very emotion heavy, a lot of back and forthy.
Yeah. Okay, wait, I know you have the answer for this one, and I want to ask you this on air. If CX had a zodiac sign, what would it be and why?
Okay, 100% Cancer, not just because I am one, but I feel like we are sensitive by nature towards everything when a customer writes in. So we take that to heart, which sometimes, you got to be careful of in CX. Don't take anything too personally, but I also think it's one of our biggest strengths too.
Yeah.
To really analyze someone's emotions. If someone's writing it upset, they're probably having a bad day. It has nothing to do with us. Personally, and I think our high empathy just gives us the leeway to just be hey, here's what I can do to help you, and then they do a 180. Then they're the happiest person ever, and then that's super rewarding for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cancers are also the cardinal sign of the zodiac, and for anybody listening who doesn't understand that, we're the bad bitches. We're one of the bad bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think we get made fun of, too, sometimes in those little Zodiac reels, which I do find hilarious. But I'm we're not that sensitive. We're not.
I don't. Well, anybody listening, we also have determined that we're both Cancers. So just putting that out there, and we're 3 days apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we are a little bit sensitive. Like this is why it's a perfect sign for CX, because it's like we're a little bit sensitive, we're empathetic, but also like we're loyal.
Yeah.
We will fuck somebody up for you.
Yeah, we'll go and fight for our customer hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like there have been times when, you know, I think before I used to be a little bit more timid where I'm like, I think the customer, and now I'm like, no, the customer is going to be upset. We have to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Please, also for my sake, do not do this or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Okay, last question, but I think this is fun. What's a customer email or DM that lives rent-free in your head?
Oh my gosh.
For better or worse?
Oh, okay. The one that comes to mind is someone who did a super deep dive into like the fabric makeup and everything like that. So, and she went through like our certifications and everything, like really to a T. Like I almost felt like I was learning watching her reel. I was like, wait, okay, yes, like listening to that. And then saying, like, but I really would like, this is super transparent and I love this, but I'm also wondering about XYZ. And I'm like, oh, now I gotta look into, like, do we have XYZ? And then, like, that sent me off a path. And then now, like, my sustainability cheat sheet is like, this chemical, no, this chemical, no, this chemical, no.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's like, it's stuff like that where I'm like, shoot. And especially if it rolls around, like, if I find it at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'm like, now I gotta wait till tomorrow.
I know.
To hear back about something like that. But that would be one of them where I was like, whoa, this is like, people do dives all the time into stuff like that, as you should.
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
consumer, absolutely. But she went really, really deep to where I was like, yeah, we better like make sure that we answer all these questions.
Yeah.
Even if it might never even come up again. But the fact that I'm still thinking about this one, this was last year.
Okay.
When we got that one.
It literally is living rent-free still.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, someone might do a deep dive on this, and I don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be.
Oh, man, that's so fun. All right, my friend, we have hit the end of the road. But before I let you go, let the audience know where they can reach you.
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn, and I might have a personal website coming soon where you can reach me out there. Yeah.
Okay, girl. I love that. We all need a personal brand out here, okay? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Above the Fold. I will catch you all next week, and toodles.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.